Change is utterly inevitable. But many times we insist on it with our outside circumstances while resisting it within ourselves. And some people don't know that without internal adjustments, the external has no chance to alter itself per a specific request. Without the realization that what happens in our world is projected from within, the changes show themselves in drastic and sometimes unwanted ways due to the chaos within certain held beliefs. They are blueprinted in an unintentional manner. However, change will always happen. It's what gives us the catalyst for growth, renewal, and evolvement. At the same time, it terrifies some people. We are creatures of habit, enjoying the routine of those habits with no disturbances, even if they aren't good for us. Sometimes we even go against the current of change and miss opportunities that are provided. Fear and insecurity frequently occur when something happens that we aren't prepared for, when ultimately gratitude and acknowledgement of the experience is what is sought after. Nature itself evolves so we are able to propel to different levels we may have never known were attainable. In the course of nature, we're easily able to identify change through the cycles presented. There's life given, a time to live where nothing remains stagnant, the process of death occurs, and then there is renewal. Just watching a plant or a tree go through the different seasons gives us a glimpse of how nature rejuvenates and regenerates. Once the plant has cycled through all of the seasons, it has transcended through many changes, including becoming barren and then reviving itself. This is the natural course of existence. It gifts us with development, progress, and expansion. We are given the opportunity for advancement through these cycles. The universal laws guiding nature and its evolvement apply to everyone, and are premeditated as support for improvement and betterment of all. Once a person understands the scale of progress that can be achieved when we all go with changes rather than fighting against them, it becomes natural to embrace the favorable parts of certain circumstances and the freedom being granted within them. Nature will provide cycles that happen with or without our enjoyment and participation. It makes no judgments as to whether they are being what is considered fair to us or not. There are occasions where a person is stripped of what they think they need in their life, only to be given space for newer, better options. The only alternative is to gracefully accept and bond with these changes in a way that offers us peace. This supports a fresh perspective so we may avoid frustration from it. We often say we want things to be different in our lives, and when it happens, we aren't certain we comply. We will encounter change regardless of whether we do it on a conscious level, with a positive outlook, or if we just find ourselves floating along with what happens and complaining when it does. Obviously, it is our choice. Despite that, what we can't control is how those transitions will occur. And this tends to throw some people off when they're attempting to produce specific outcomes. It's often easy to try to direct in our mind how these changes will take place. However, when the how doesn't come about in the manner we choose, we feel as though our efforts are not fruitful. This is an incorrect assumption, though. There is a course outlined for each of us that we do not have control of, and it happens in a very instinctual way. We absolutely have free will of the choices we make within our thoughts, wording, visualizations, and daily interactions with others. This encourages the necessary modifications to produce different results in our lives. Nevertheless, we are often not able to predict how those results will come into play. The loss of control from the ego's viewpoint can throw many off their course, reversing the initial good that provoked the original change requested. The ego's need for power during these times of transformation must be let go so the universe can do its job to assist. It's most advantageous to have faith in this process. Faith is what solicits miracles. There is a way, unbeknownst to most, which is better than anything they could come up with the egotistical portion of themselves. Implicit trust in our higher power and confidence in the way our soul functions with everything and everyone else is the most productive course of action. There's no need to try to understand the mysterious method by which these principles operate. It would be a futile attempt anyhow. An expectation that our spirit knows best how to bring about the revisions desired is crucial when creating specific outcomes. I've found that some people will take a hopeless demeanor at this crossroad of creating. They have it all figured out and outlined in their mind how everything should come into play. And when it doesn't happen in the way they mentally see it, there's bewilderment and confusion. They then say, well, you said if I change the way I think and visualize things in a certain way and truly believe in it, it will happen. Yes, true. Yet attempting to guide the how of that will sabotage it every single time. Through faith, releasing, and allowing, the best possible result can happen with the least resistance. Relaxing into the knowledge that our ego doesn't know best is key. When it comes to getting to the most optimal point in the most optimal way, the me part of us does not have a clue how to do that. Letting go of forcing our creations to come about as we see fit is the most beneficial manner in which to handle these adjustments. In fact, our ego isn't even designed to be equipped with all of the information required to know the best route. This is our spirit's job, as it is in alignment with the laws of nature. Those aspects harmoniously labor for us, even when we can't see it due to being absorbed in our daily physical experience. Even so, know this: when we ask for change, we will get it. What have we currently and collectively asked for? More peace, more solidarity, maybe more time with family. So with vital necessity, letting go of how we think things should happen proposes space for the manner in which they do. And when we offer that release, there's only room for expansion within the process. It is the allowing of things to take place in a natural way that makes the development effortless and seamless. Successful people, those producing the outcomes that they really desire, adapt to change easily. They don't let a sidetrack sway the way they feel, and there's absolute faith that their desires will come about one way or another. With forward action and no care as to how their desire manifests, they know it just does. Being adaptable to circumstances so as not to try to control what has already taken place in the development of the creation is how a person allows the formation to come about. Because you want to alter certain aspects of your life, and I'm assuming you do if you're watching this video, you are already noticing that you are also outgrowing what no longer serves you. This is very natural. There are many things we bring into our lives that later become creations that are no longer needed. Evolution is inevitable. We might work our entire life for something only to suddenly realize it isn't what we want anymore. There's nothing wrong with that. Everything is a growing process. Everyone and everything changes. We can change our mind. It's okay. We can have a change of heart. Sometimes we do. We can think we want something and then decide we don't. Not a problem either. All of this is normal and natural. Like snakes shedding our skin, we consistently produce newer and fresher layers underneath. Once the outer layer is no longer needed, we move on to the next. The course is essential and instinctive. Expectancy of new encounters is normal, and renewal occurs by design. Otherwise, life would be, at most, ordinary. Think of a time when you've decided to take on the task of spring cleaning. You may not actually want to tackle this right away, determining to let it meander in your mind as just a thought for a while. All the same, once certain you want to master it, and actually go through the motions of doing so, it offers rejuvenation. By removing the clutter and disposing of articles no longer wanted, you allow space for new items that you do want. This is a change you've decided to make because there are things you just don't use or desire anymore. It's the same concept as deciding you've outgrown the car you're driving, therefore craving a new one. It's not that you don't have some fondness or attachment to the old vehicle, or maybe you don't. It's simply that it's time for an upgrade, and this requires an adjustment. It happens to us with our houses, our clothing, the people we allow into our lives, our electronics, and many, many other things. We do it out of a need to be in alignment with the advancements going on around us. It's easy to appreciate all of the new inventions and products popping up around us consistently. As a group, we are continuously coming up with more brilliant ways to make our lives easier. when a problem arises within our society, something causing undesired feelings or outcomes, someone, or a group of someones, comes up with a solution. It's the inherent and innate way we are designed to change and adapt. One of the major keys to adapting and settling into change comfortably is to heed what is given at any particular moment in time. As I said earlier, when we ask for it, it would be wise to expect it. It's always going to happen anyway. Moreover, when we're specific about those alterations and consciously working towards our desires, having the wherewithal to accept how the changes come into our lives is a great way to have a high success rate. By observing what is happening in our life in any given moment and agreeing to be okay with it, we can relax into knowing that nature and the universe are catching up with our request for advancement. So when you feel you are looking into the darkness, remember there is light to be found. No one can experience light without witnessing the dark first. It suggests knowledge of the differences in the two and bridges any weakness in between. Maybe you found yourself in solitude when all you want is to not be alone. This provides time to catch your breath and connect fully with your spirit. It also freely offers the occasion to grow within the happiness of self, so there's comprehension of the true nature of what that means. It could be that all you want is peace and quiet and can't find it anywhere. This supports the attainment of cultivating patience and understanding. The lesson of how to come from a place of love with those in your environment is supplied until there's time for yourself. Or maybe you can't stand your job and feel stuck in that position. You're being furnished the chance to master thoroughly the task currently at hand. Consequently, surroundings will adjust to the fact that you are prepared for something newer and better. These are only examples, and the reasons may vary for why you feel you are in limbo with specific themes, if you are. Still, we can anticipate growing within these changes. It's what changes do. From a habitual standpoint, this is what causes the uneasiness that settles in while going through a change, especially life-altering ones. It is a growth process, and when that growth has occurred, through our willful participation, we are provided the luxury of watching our wishes be granted for the original adjustment that we requested. A steady course requires steady attention. In the meantime, we are imparted the probability for growth in the area of our request. An appeal for change is the springboard for evolution and advancement. We must pass through the growth phase in order to reach our new prize. That is how evolution occurs. That is what change is all about. All of the forces of the universe and nature are delighted to assist us in making the most fascinating changes possible. In fact, they prefer we do so from a primal view that ensures evolution of the species. It's only that most don't understand the beauty in what may be considered crude by the forces that be. In actuality, we are always being given exactly what we ask for and what we think about. When we're able to take a deeper look into the underlying messages gifted to us and evolve in that process, we can embrace change for what it truly is and see the perfection of our lives unfolding in a very natural and evolutionary way.